What's up, guys? Just about our channel tonight. We'll be reviewing for Friday Smackdown. So let's get to them with the segment with Bianca Belair. Alright, Bianca Belair comes out to the Knoxville crowd to a warm reception. Belair says it's good to be back in Knoxville, her old stomping grounds. Belair gets everyone to jam to Rocky Top and then thanks everyone for always being behind her and calls Knoxville her safe place. She says she's back to heel and she's doing everything she can to get back in the ring. Belair welcomes everyone to Friday Night SmackDown, and Naomi interrupts her. Naomi says she's elated that Belair is finally back on SmackDown. Naomi says she thinks about their fallout every day and wants to talk. And Belair wonders what Naomi could possibly say. Naomi says she wants Belair's forgiveness, and she's trying to fix the dissension between them. She asks Belair to let the past be the past and to move forward. Naomi tells Belair she went to her house here in Knoxville and no one was home, so she let herself in. Naomi brings up going through Belair's photo albums and seeing Belair so happy in those pictures reminded her of how happy Belair was when they were the tag champs. Belair tells her to never go to her family and tells Naomi that Naomi has broken her trust, and while they were friends, she cannot overlook that. Naomi tells Belair that it wouldn't be a good look if Belair and Belair's mom were in a wheelchair. Jake Cargo matches out to the ring and boots Naomi to the ground. Belair and Cargo stare each other down, and Naomi tries to attack again, and Cargo sends her out of the ring, and Nia Jax's music hits, and we cut a commercial break. So after that, the first match, Women's Money in the Bank Triple Threat Qualifying Match, Naomi versus Nia Jax versus Jade Cargo. We come back for commercial break to the match well underway. Jax throws Cargo into the corner while Naomi hangs out outside the ring, not getting involved. Cargo kicks Jax and takes her down, and Naomi finally enters the bout. Naomi slams Jax into the corner and gets on Cargo and delivers punches to a laid out Cargo. Naomi knocks Cargo back down and hits a drop kick on Cargo in the corner. Cargo hit a late split on Cargo and covers her for a 2 count. Jax enters the ring hip attacks Cargo. Naomi hits a guillotine on Jax on the middle rope and then climbs the ropes in the corner. Naomi jumps onto Cargill, who catches her and hits a fallaway slam. Cargo takes out Naomi with the clotheslines, and Jax breaks a pinning attempt. Jax headbutts Naomi and hits a Samoan drop on Cargo. Jax hits a double leg drop on Cargo, and Naomi then tosses Cargo out of the ring. Jax climbs to the top rope and leg drops onto Naomi and covers her for a near fall. Naomi hugs the ropes so Jax can't get her, but Jax is relentless and gets Naomi off the ropes and tries for a Samoan drop, but is countered by Naomi, and we get another commercial break. Back to SmackDown. Cargo is being beaten up by both Naomi and Jax. Cargo tries fighting back, but is knocked down again. Naomi kicks Cargo in the stomach, and Jax hits a sidewalk slam on Cargo. And Naomi then hits a leg splits and covers. Jax pulls her off Cargo. Naomi tries to roll up Jax, but Jax rolls through and then attacks Naomi in the corner. Jax hits a running senton on Naomi, and Cargo starts punching Jax and splashes on Naomi. Jax squishes Naomi, and Cargo kicks Jax and then hits a spinebuster on Jax. Cargo hits a meteor on Cargo and then covers her for 2. Naomi smacks Jax, and Cargo comes behind and hits a Jade on Naomi, and Jax breaks that pin. Jax gets on the top row. Cargo meets her there. Naomi pulls Cargo down, and they start exchanging punches, and Jax comes off the top row and splashes both women. Some pinning attempts happen, but are all unsuccessful. Jax gets Naomi on her shoulders and then climbs the ropes and hits a super Samoan drop and covers Naomi. Cargo comes off the other corner and hits a frog splash on Jax and covers Jax for 2. Cargo and Naomi are knocked down by Jax, and Cargo kicks down Jax. Naomi climbs the ropes. Cargo climbs the same corner and goes for a superplex. Jax comes from behind and slams them both down from the top rope. She hits a Annihilator on Cargo, but Naomi rolls up Jax for the win. So winner is Naomi. Damn. Alright, everybody, so let's go backstage and all that stuff. About R2 coming out. It's talking about funny shit. Nick Aldis was approached by Chelsea Green and all that stuff about our match next coming up, and Byron Saxon talks to Timmy Strap about Money Bank, all that stuff, and Naomi threatens her about cashing in, and Elizabeth too, and all that stuff. So yeah. Alright, so second match coming up is really R-Truth versus JC and Mateo with Solo Sikoa. Truth charges at Mateo, and Mateo lifts up Truth and slams him into the corner. Excuse me, and hits him with the shoulder checks. Mateo sends Truth into the opposite corner, knocking Truth down. Mateo does this again to the other side of the ring. Truth attacks Mateo with some shoulder check and takes out Mateo with a bunch of John Cena's moves. Mateo knocks down Truth and hits a stunning moonsault. Mateo goes for a senton and misses, allowing Truth to hit the high knuckle shovel. Truth tries for the AA, but Mateo's weight flattens him. Mateo hits a tour of the islands and gets the win. So here's JC Mateo. Alright, after the match, Mateo and Sikoa beyond R2. Jimmy Uso runs down with a chair, and Mateo and Sikoa stand down. Mateo attacks Uso from behind, and then Sikoa and Mateo retreat. Alright, anyways, excuse me. The Street Profits are now walking backstage, and they're up next. Alright, the segment is up next with the Street Profits and stuff. Alright, we come back from commercial break, and Street Profits make their way out to the ring. Montez Ford gets on the mic and says the tag division is on fire right now, and they're leading the charge. Andrew Douglas talks about all the teams that are after them right now, and Ford said they will defend their titles against anyone. Fraction makes their way out to the ring. Nathan Frazier says since they're talking about defending their titles, they want another title shot. Ford says they had Fraction beat until the Y6 attacked them. Fraser says since all that is behind them, they should do this. Motor City Machine Guns come out, and Alex Shelley says just because the Profits never beat Fraxham, they get a title shot. Profits never beat MCMG either, so they want one too. Kansas Ray, Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa come out. LeRae tells everyone DIY should be next in line, and Chris Sabin tells LeRae to shut up. DIY says Fraxham, MCMG, and Profits have killed the division. Ciampa asks for a moment of silence for the death of the division, and all the lights go out. The Y6 attack the group and leaves the party before they showed up, laid out, and we cut a commercial break. Alright, NXT's new North American champion Ethan Page is on commentary for our next match. Alright, so third match coming up: Los Garza and Angel Humberto with Santos Escobar versus Ray Phoenix and Javon Evans. Hope I said that right. Angel and Phoenix start the bout. Phoenix works the crowd, and first before Angel and Phoenix start with punches, Phoenix hits a head scissors on Angel and then kicks him. Berto and Evans are tagged in, and Evans gets Berto on the mat and covers for two. Berto hits a springboard crossbody and covers Evans for two. Evans hits a springboard scissors Berto on out of the ring, and then attacks out Angel and sends him out of the ring. Angel comes back and is double teamed, and Berto comes in and is double teamed again. Phoenix is tagged in and covers Berto for two. We cut commercial break. Alright, we're back, and Evans is being choked out by Angel on the ropes. Berto kicks Evans, and Angel gets Evans in a headlock. Evans punches Angel and tries to tackle. Angel gets Evans in the corner and drapes him between the ropes. Angel kicks Evans in the gut and then punches Phoenix off off the apron. Evans punches Angel, but Angel kicks Evans on his back and tags Berto, and Evans is double teamed with the Garza special and covered for two count. Berto gets Evans in a headlock, and Evans breaks the hold and almost tags Phoenix. But Berto stops him. Evans kicks Berto down, and Angel and Phoenix are tagged, and Phoenix takes down both Angel and Berto and kicks Angel in the corner. Phoenix hits a double spring moonsault on Angel and covers for two. Evans blind tags in and splashes onto Angel, and Berto kicks down Evans, and all four men are laid out. Angel and Evans trade punches in the middle of the ring and then move up to chopping each other. Evans walks into a sitting powerbomb by Angel, and Angel covers Evans for a near fall. Berto is tagged in, and they get on the top rope with Evans. Phoenix runs in and stops the move and knocks Los Garza Out of the ring, Phoenix hits Adios Amigo on Angel, and Evan hits a Swanton onto Los Garza. Outside the ring, Ethan gets in Evans and Phoenix's face. Paige slams Phoenix into Evans and throws Phoenix over the announce desk. Evans kicks Paige and hits the red dot on Berto in the ring. Back in the ring, Evans gets money bank on Evans and gets the win. So winners MTY on Evans gets the win. Anyways, so winners are Los Garza. Alright, Vio with Uncle Howdy plays where he says they won't stop. Alright, fourth match, Zelina Vega vs. Alba Fire with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Fire attacks Vega at the bell and slams her into the corners of the ring. Fire gets Vega on her shoulders, but Vega counters and kicks Fire. Vega counters out of the side of a sidewalk slam and tries for a pin. Vega is knocked down with a shoulder check. Vega tries Vega takes down Fire and punches Fire out in the corner. Fire lifts Vega and slams her into the corner. Vega hits a middle rope head scissors, sending Fire out of the ring. Fire trips Vega and hits a pendulum bullhammer. Vega sends Fire into the ropes and goes for 619, and Green distracts the ref, allowing Niven to trip Vega and cut a commercial break. Back to Smackdown, Fire pulls on Vega's hair and then hits a face plant plex on Vega. Fire gets Vega in the headlock and Vega breaks the hold and they change strikes. Vega kicks down Fire and both women are laid out. Fire is driven into the corners by Vega and Vega kicks Fire and then starts punching her. Vega hits a couple clotheslines and a back suplex on Fire. Vega knees Fire in the corner and then stomps the turnbuckle and climbs it. She hits a middle rope and covers Fire for two. Vega tries to suplex, but Fire counters and goes for a vertical suplex, and Vega counters to a stunner. Vega misses a moonsault, and Fire comes back with a swanton bomb and covers Vega. Got two. Vega is knocked out of the ring, and Green tries to hit Vega with her mask, but hits Nevin back in the ring. Vega hits a cold red on Fire and gets the win. So winner is Zelina Vega. Alright, backstage, The Miz talks about, what's coming up with the Money Bank, all that stuff, blah, blah. Alright, Damian Priest walks backstage, and also we get a promo with Julia, talk about Smackdown, and all that stuff, Money Bank. Alright, Xavier walks backstage, approached by Julia, and see about, United Championship, and all that stuff. Alright, we have a little segment with Damian Priest. Damian Priest comes out to the ring. Priest says, since he's been McIntyre, he can breathe easily now. He talks about how he feuded with McIntyre for over a year, but this last match they went to war and McIntyre is now in the past. Priest tells McIntyre that he still can't stand him, but the McIntyre he faced was the old McIntyre, the Warrior. Priest says he still wants championships, and even though he isn't in Money in the Bank, he still has his eyes set on championship. He says he wants Jacob Fatu's title and that he respects Fatu, and he says he's proud of Fatu, but he doesn't respect the people Fatu hangs with. He tells Fatu if his crew gets involved, he'll take care of them too. Alright, I have a fifth match coming up. Men's Money in the Bank triple threat match. Qualifying match. Jacob Fatu versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes with The Miz. The Miz tries to distract Jacob Fatu, allowing Hayes to attack Fatu. Fatu flattens Hayes and turns his attention to Andrade. Andrade punches Fatu and connects with the forearm. Andrade hits a crossbody and covers Fatu for two. Hayes comes in the ring and Andrade is tossed out, and Hayes punches Fatu. Fatu clocks Hayes and Hayes mid-air, and Hayes rolls out of the ring. Fatu goes to splash onto Hayes, but the Miz grabs Fatu's foot. Hayes kicks Fatu, and the Miz pulls down the ropes to send Fatu out of the ring. In the ring, Andrade takes down Hayes, and outside the ring, Fatu super kicks the Miz and slams him into the barricades. Fatu then hits his running hip attack on the Miz against the barricades and make it commercial break. We're back, and Fatu covers Andrade against the turnbuckles and then chops Andrade. Andrade is headbutted and then fires back with chops of his own. Fatu connects with the uppercut and goes for a running hip attack on Andrade, but misses. Hayes is back in, and Andrade takes him down with a forearm. Andrade hits a meter aura on Fatu in the corner and walks into Hayes, floating over him and slamming Andrade down and covers for two. Andrade kicks Fatu and Hayes goes for a springboard move, but stops him and hits a middle rope Spanish fly. Immediately Fatu splashes both Andrade and Hayes as they land from the Spanish fly. Fatu climbs the ropes and Andrade pulls him off and climbs the ropes himself and hits his double moonsault on Fatu and covers for a 2 count. All three men now punch each other in the middle of the ring. Hayes hits a double springboard DDT. Hayes hits a code breaker and Andrade hits a poison rana on Fatu. Hayes takes down Andrade and tries to get the pin. Andrade pulls Hayes out of the ring and they start exchanging punches. Hayes kicks Andrade and Fatu comes out of nowhere and kicks Hayes down. Fatu goes to hit a hip attack on both against the barricades, and Hayes and Andrade moved out of the way, sending Fatu crashing through the barricades, and we get commercial break. Back on Smackdown, Andrade tries to roll up Hayes, but Hayes kicks out. Fatu is still out, and Andrade slash Hayes are laid out in the center of the ring. Hayes and Andrade trade chops and strikes while still on the mat. Andrade sits Hayes on the top turnbuckle, and Hayes knocks down Andrade. Andrade gets on his feet and kicks Hayes and climbs the ropes with him. Andrade hits a Spanish fly, and Fatu runs in and assists a Spanish fly and slams them both. Fatu hits a swanton bomb on Hayes from the top rope and covers until Andrade breaks a pin. Fatu slams into Andrade in the corner and goes to do the same on Hayes, but Hayes kicks Fatu. Fatu goes for a Samoan drop on Hayes, but Andrade super kicks them, and Hayes and Andrade covers Fatu for a 2 count. JC Mateo and Solo Sikoa come out to ringside. Hayes connects with a crossbody on Andrade and covers for two. Fatu headbutts Hayes and sits Hayes on the top turnbuckle. Fatu lifts Andrade and then gets Hayes on his back and tries for a double Samoan drop, but Hayes jumps out of the hole. Fatu goes for a moonsault on Andrade, and Hayes hits Fatu and covers for two. Andrade and Hayes trade pinning attempts. Hayes hits first 48 on Andrade, and Fatu takes down Hayes, and all the action is grounded as the men are laid out. Fatu hits a spike DT on Andrade and then slams Hayes into the corner. Hayes gets a running hip attack and hits an implant DT on Andrade. Fatu hits his moonsault and Sikoa on the apron and tells Fatu to do it again, distracting him. Jimmy Uso runs down and takes out Mateo in the ring. Hayes hits a code breaker on Fatu, sending him out of the ring. Andrade hits the message and pins Hayes. So winner is Andrade. After the match, Sikoa, Fatu, and Mateo all argue. Alright, Byron Styles talks to LNA about, Money in the Bank and stuff, and Aleister Black comes out in the Rock's night that says his wins was partially his and leaves all that stuff. Alright, Cody Rhodes and walks backstage, headed to his face-to-face confrontation with Cena. Jacob Fatu loses his mind and backstage tells Sikoa that he's done all that stuff and he doesn't need his help and all that stuff. So yeah. Alright, we roll our main event segment on SmackDown when Cody Rhodes comes out to bring. Rhodes wants to know what's on everyone's mind. Rhodes talks about what he did after WrestleMania 41. He says he took some time to himself. He says he started doubting himself, so he reached out to a friend and asked this friend if he was good. He was a good champion. He says his friend said, with everything Rhodes has faced, he is a good champion. He says he had a lot of time to reflect the things he's been through, like that Rock, AJ Styles, and John Cena. Rhodes says if Cena destroys wrestling, then Rhodes is partially to blame. He sends Cena a message that he will never hesitate with Cena again. He tells Cena that this time he will burn Cena's ass up. Rhodes calls out Jey Uso, who is his partner at Money in the Bank. Jey Uso comes out through the crowd, and we cut commercial break. Alright, we come back from commercial break. Uso and Rhodes are in the ring, and Uso does his encore of his entrance and eats some more Sorry guys. As the Ye Fest ends, John Cena's music hits and Cena comes out to the ring. Cena gets on the mic and says he's upset too and calls Uso and Rose professional wrestling's biggest wannabes. He says they both want to be him so bad it makes him sick. He says Uso is too lazy and Rose is too desperate, so they won't come close to where he is. He says Logan Paul has everything a future champion needs. Logan Paul comes out and joins the party, and in the ring, Cena says Paul does WWE better than any wrestler. He says Paul doesn't have to pay his dues because Paul is paying for their mortgages. He says people came to see Cena and Paul and not Rose and Uso. Paul says he can walk on water and he will say he can't swim, but Paul says Cena speaks the truth and no one sees it. Paul says this is a big moment when he and Cena team together and it will be the highlight of everyone's life. Paul says the only problem right now is that he knows he doesn't have Uso's title. He tells Uso that he's lucky and he only beat Paul because he was lucky and Rose had to interfere in the match for Uso to win. He calls Rose and Uso Nepo babies and says how he and Cena are self-made men. Paul says 5 years ago no one would have believed him if he said he'd be a WWE superstar and team with Cena, but here he is now. Paul tells Rose and Uso that if they want some, come get some. Uso says, let's handle this now. And Paul and Uso go at it, and Rose and Uso go at it. Cena sets up for the AA, but Uso kicks Cena out of the ring, and the suicide dives out to him in the ring. Rose hits a cutter on Paul, and they celebrate in the ring. As Paul and Cena look from the rampway, Uso and Rose hold up their title as the show goes on there and stuff. Alright, so yeah, good show tonight, so I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, some good matches on there tonight as well, and all that stuff, but yeah. Oh man, I can't see. So there's gonna be 4 matches each at Worlds Collide, which will be the first one, which will be streaming on YouTube, and then it'll be Money in the Bank, so we have 4 matches on that one also. So yeah, which won't be on probably finish until almost 9 o'clock, all that stuff, but yeah, man, so I can't believe John Cena is teaming up with Logan Paul and shit, man. I can't believe, god damn, can't believe that shit. But anyways, good show tonight. I enjoyed it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show too earlier tonight and all that. But anyways, that was his first video. Hope you like it and not whatever stuff. So like, subscribe, hit that bell button, leave a comment. If you guys don't leave a comment, so I'm gonna cover guys who knows it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night for a collision, but I don't know what time it's gonna start because of basketball or whatever, all that stuff. But anyways, that was it. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. All right, laters.